Hello everyone, so this video is going to be about the 16 landmark towers, or the star towers, is what I like to call them because they look like the weird design that they got. So this one's in Puerto Rico, it's at a radio station. This one doesn't have any beacons, but it does have like small antennas on the top of it, like the satellite dishes and the... But yeah, I actually found all 16 of these star towers. Now, some of them were taken down. Like, there's this one in the middle of nowhere that's used for ham radio. It had to be replaced. But the last few of the star towers are unknown, but I know where they're located. Now, here's where one of the unknown star towers was located. Now, I think this one was taken down in the 90s, like late 90s and early 2000s. But you can see the driveway where it goes back to the tower, and then it just sort of disappears before it gets to where the tower stood. Now I put squares where the foundations for the three legs on the star tower. This one's in the middle of nowhere in the New Mexico area, like the rest of them are. Alright, this one was taken down in around 2016 or something. Yeah, 2013 or 2016 this one was taken down. Now I remember accidentally finding this one a few years before it was taken down. Like, me and my brother used to look at cell phone towers and Google Maps and all that kind of stuff, and I may have found this one by accident or something, and I thought it looked pretty cool. But sadly there's no street view because this is like far away from the road. And there's a driveway, and someone's been driving through the site where it used to be. But this one's taken out like in the middle of the 2016 or 13. Now this one was taken down around the same time as 2013 or 2016 as well. It's about in the same area as this star tower, but a little bit of a different location. And this one's like right off of a highway that goes there in Bloomington, New Mexico. Now this one, there's barely any more evidence that there's one that stood here, but the driveway is long gone. You can kind of see a trace of where the driveway used to be, but that's gone. And here's where another star tower in New Mexico stood. Now this one, they have a supply right there, like a water storage tank. This one's far from a road too, but I remember going back in time on Google Earth to this bunch of dirt they dug up right here. Well, it was a star towers what they had there. Now I don't know why they took this one down, but across the driveways where it fell over at, like they made this one fall down where they would weld the legs, or no, they would saw the legs, like with a metal saw or something, and it would fall down. But sadly, there's no pictures or street view of the tower, but I do have some pictures up from Google Earth, but I have to go back and find them. So here's the one on the rooftop in Dallas. Yeah, this one's a very small star tower. It's like one of the small versions of it. But it's really tall because it's up high in the air, but it's a small version of it though. Now here's one of the biggest star towers. And well, this one, you'll see a smaller star tower on top of the big white thing at the top. Now, I think this one might have dial light LEDs. I think it does, because I remember someone saying something about that. But this one's one of the big star towers. Alright, so this star tower has a brother with it. It's an AT&T Long Lines tower. Now, some people said that this doesn't really look like a Long Lines tower, or they don't consider it to be, but I do because it showed up on the Long Lines maps. But anyway, here's the star tower in Shreveport, Louisiana. This one's still around today. I'm not sure what kind of beacons it has, but I'll have to go back and watch one of the videos I've seen of this one. But there's probably like beacons halfway up the tower and one at the very top. And this one's like about the size of the Cincinnati Star Tower, which I've seen the Cincinnati Star Tower in person before, like about 2 or 3 times. Because I was going to northern Kentucky and I seen it along the way. So this one's in Bloomington, Illinois. This one was one of the first star towers I discovered on Google Maps before. And it's got the 3 round rings on it like platforms for cellular antennas, and I think that might be the beacon right there at the very top. Now this one's not as tall, but it's a tall tower though for being a star tower, but not as big as like what the Cincinnati Star Tower is, but you know, it's really in size of star towers and stuff. Now here's the Cincinnati Star Tower. Now I remember back in 2012 we was going to northern Kentucky, like on the other side of the Ohio River and stuff. And I remember seeing this tower had box strobes and modern incandescents is what this one had. Because I remember going near this tower one time and I seen the box strobes were flashing. And I don't know if I ever seen it at night, but I remember seeing it when it had its box strobes and it somehow got new beacons. Like, there's a beacon on one of the legs, and there's like beacons about in this area and one at the very top. So I'm not sure what its new beacons are, but I'll have to ask the big LT what its beacons are now, because he'll probably know about it. So here's the Huey's Memorial Tower, and there's a addition beside it, like one of those TV towers. Now this one's one of my favorites in the Washington area, because it's a big landmark. But you can kind of see this in the Washington skyline pictures, because there's not that much in the Washington skyline, but you can see this tower in the background from all the skyline pictures taken on the south of it. So this tower looks like it kind of had its things taken off the top, like it used to have one of those big red antennas for the television at the top, which I'm not sure if it did or not. And there's like this platform about halfway up the tower, and they got more antennas right there for cell phone antennas. Except this one looks like it had modification if it had that big red antenna at the top. Which it probably did, but I'm not sure if it ever had it for a long time. Now here's one of the taller star towers, the taller versions of it. Now what I really like about this one is the platforms, is how they did the platforms halfway up the tower. It looked pretty cool, and they got the cellular antennas on them. And there's where the cages, the cable trays, would hold the wires into the building. This one still had its red antenna at the top. Alright, so I found this tower on Google because I looked at pictures of landmark towers, star towers, or whatever, and I somehow found this tower on Google, but I have no idea as to where it might be located. So if any of you guys might know where this tower is, please let me know, because I would like to find it on Google Maps. But I'm still trying to look for it, but I just haven't found it yet. Now this tower doesn't have any beacons, because if it would have beacons, it would have side markers, unless it has an FH308 or some kind of other white-only beacon. But it looks beaconless, like it doesn't have any. So this star tower was purposely taken down for some reason. This one was in Roanoke, Virginia. Well, it was taken down because they probably didn't need it anymore, so it's sadly taken down. And here's a tower in Puerto Rico that was destroyed by a hurricane. Now, what I read from Wikipedia about this tower was that this star tower was the tallest freestanding structure in Puerto Rico. And it had one of those big white donut things on it. See, this one is about a little bit taller than the star tower. Now here's how McGinnis came up with the design for the star towers. McGinnis, who had previous experience building electric transmission line towers, evidently came up with the unique design while scribbling on a Christian symbol of a fish on a napkin. So I don't know how true that is, but it says Wikipedia that has this info of how I came up with the design. So that's all the 16 star towers, and the forgotten ones too.